For me, I always ask whether something I do is out of love or whether it's out of fear. Some of the things I really enjoy doing, gardening, running, watching anime, reading anime and manga, playing games, living sustainably, things like composting. Gardening is part of living sustainably. Biking, for groceries. Mathematics. I've found a lot of beauty in all of these. It's I can even say some of these have saved my life. But I know as much as I love all these things, they can also become crutches for many reasons. For example, I truly do love the pureness, the beauty of mathematics, right? It's very, very beautiful. Like, for example, Euler's identity, beautiful. That's an amazing, amazing formula. Or things like, what's another? Trying to remember. It's been a while. The decomposition theorem. I don't remember if that's the full name. The decomposition theorem. Yeah, there's a lot of beautiful fractals. Fractals are very, very beautiful. There's a lot of beauty and elegance in mathematics. Mathematics, theoretical physics. But there's also times when I can realize, looking back, now I realize that I was using the pureness of mathematics as a crutch for coping with the imperfections of life, right? Mathematics is perfect, absolutely perfect. Besides, of course, Gödel's incompleteness theorem, that whole thing. But besides that, mathematics is perfect, right? It's pure, absolutely, totally pure, distilled. But life is complex, it's messy, it's chaotic, right? So, like, looking back, I can see how I was using the pureness of mathematics to cope with my humanity, right? With feelings of frustration, with political disagreements, with not feeling fulfillment in my life, right? That I was using it as a coping mechanism. So it was there. Mathematics was there both truly as love, right? I truly love mathematics, the beauty of it. But I also realized that I used it as a coping mechanism. And it's true of everything that I do, right? Do I do it out of love or do I do it out of fear, out of coping, compensating for something else? And it takes like digging deep into my heart, right, into my soul to figure that out, right? But I can't lie to myself, right? I can't hide from myself. I can't bullshit myself. I can bullshit other people, but I can't bullshit myself. And I want to isn't even the correct word. Would I would like to honor and cherish the the love that I truly feel for gardening, for running, for mathematics, for sustainable living, for natural beauty, for like creative works, anime and manga. It feels the same with like pain and pleasure. This is just like an analogy I came up with so I can understand it. But in essence, there's only two ways of operating in the world: pain or pleasure, right? Positive or negative, good karma or bad karma, long term or short term, yin and yang, right? Just one or the other. I'm only saying this like as a principle. I'm not saying this is true. This is just an analogy that I use to make sense of the world. And when it comes to pain and pleasure, pain is much stronger short term, right? Pain is immediate, right? If you're in pain, you'll change, right? Like if you put your hands over a fire, that's painful, right? And then you'll right immediately you're gonna move your hand, right? Pain is immediate, right? Whereas pleasure takes a lot longer. So if you want immediate change, pain is it's fast, extremely fast. But pleasure takes much more, but it's more sustainable, right? You can do it over and over and over and over and over, right? It's kind of like this. I make an analogy to like short term and long term, like fast twitch and slow twitch muscle fiber. I'm oversimplifying all these things, but it's just a way for me to make sense of the world. I think of pain as like short bursts of energy, right? If I need to like change this quickly, it's all about pain. It's all about fast twitch, right? But if I want to make consistent, consistent day to day, right? Every single day, a habit, right? I do it and then I do it again and then I do it again and then I do it again, right? A repeatable, sustainable thing. And then it has to be slow twitch. It has to be long term. It has to be from pleasure. But both systems are very important, right? They're integral parts of being human, right? So that's why um, I've trained a lot more of my zone two, right? So my endurance, but I haven't trained as much of my strength. But now I'm training a lot more of my strength as well as zone two endurance plus VO2 and stuff. Um, it's really strange, like how I feel physically by training is how I feel mentally in my mind. It makes the lessons concrete, right? If I just this It's the difference between knowledge and application, right? Knowledge is just knowledge, right? It's just you knowing, it's in the mind, right? But feeling it, right? Actually physically feeling those lessons, right? That's experience, right? Experience trumps over knowledge every single time. Experience is you actually doing it. So exercise is like a really good way for me to make analogy, like just connect between my physical body and these ideas of things like pain and pleasure, or things like love and fear. And so it seems like, you know, I'm thinking for most people, including myself, we dither, right? What usually happens is we don't go to the pain and we don't go to pleasure, right? We don't go to either of them, right? We kind of like dither in the middle, right? We're like like we have to go here and then there and then here and then there, right? It's like spasming, right? You're not short term, but you're not long term. You're not pain, but you're not pleasure. You're just spasming in the middle. Right? You're not even in the middle, but the easiest way to understand it is like exercise, right? What happens most of the time, especially when you're starting out, you go too fast that you're not in zone 2, right, which is endurance. But you don't go fast enough where you're training for VO2, right, which is like zone 5, zone 4 or 5. So you're in that gray zone, right? You're not quite endurance, but you're not quite sprinting, right? You're in the middle. You're indecisive basically, right? You're not here nor there, right? You're not anywhere. But that analogy can be applied to like anything in life, right? Not just cardio, but in career, right? In business, in health, and emotions, in relationships, right? In anything in life, right? You want the short term, right? Short, quick, you know, big changes, right? Short, quick, big changes, right? Big leaps of faith, or you want sustainable everyday habits, right? Unconscious habits that move you towards your desired life, right? But if you're dithering in the middle, right, where you're not making quick changes, but you're not also committing to like simple daily habits, right? You're just dithering in the middle. You're not changing, nor are you like being committed, right? You're undecided. You're undecided, right? And that's important too, right? That's important too. That's part of being human, right? This indecisiveness, that's part of being human. Being lazy, that's part of being human, right? That was very adaptive during our ancestors' days. That was very adaptive. So it's in a paradoxical sort of way, right? It seems like you know, we a lot of the times, a lot of us have minor addictions or bad habits, and that's part of being human. And we don't have to train ourselves, condition ourselves as much as our ancestors had to, right? Our ancestors had to be physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually strong, right? They had to be. If they were weak, they would have died, right? If they were physically weak, emotionally weak, or spiritually weak, they would have died. They could not survive. Um, there are stories of compassion, friends or families taking care of um, their companions in the Paleolithic, right? 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 years ago. But it was our ancestors had a much, much, much tougher life than we do, right? I wouldn't trade anything to go back, really. But with everything, there comes a price. Now, there comes karma, right? For every reaction, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Not to sound too, woo-woo, but in the modern world, we have a lot of advantages, right? Internet, social media. We have access to literally all of human information, human knowledge at our fingertips, literally. But no, the exchange for that is addiction, right? Internet addiction, social media addiction, video game addiction, right? So it's really just like having the wisdom to harness that crazy amount of potential. It's having with great power comes great responsibility. I kind of like to think of it as you know, like if you're lazy, if you're fat, if you're unmotivated, I mean, no, congratulations, right? You're a human. That's, you know, it means that we're all of us today are lucky enough to live in a time where we don't have to strive to survive, right? Where we don't have to be physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually fit to survive, right? Just to survive, right? We can be lazy, we can be unmotivated, right? We can be emotionally weak, and we can still survive, right? Because we're so fortunate. We're so fortunate to live in a technologically sophisticated society, right? We're so fortunate. But of course, the paradoxical part is, right, the easier our lives become, right, the more convenient our lives become, the more we have to push ourselves to push past our comfort zone, right? The easier our lives become, the harder we have to push ourselves, right, so that we don't fall into like this um, trap of convenience. That's kind of like the paradox of our lives. Now, how do you do that? Hmm. Um, it every person has their own life's journey. Every single person has their own has their own life story to write. For me, though, for me, I think one of the most important things I've the most important things I've come to appreciate is sitting with uncertainty, right? Being comfortable with uncertainty. Uncertainty is scary, right? Right, doing something that you don't know, that's terrifying. It's like if you've never ice skated, if you've never swam, if you've never skied, if you've never piloted a helicopter, right? It's scary. The first time you do it, it's terrifying because you've never done it. But sitting with that uncertainty, right? Becoming comfortable with being uncomfortable is is a huge opportunity to experience life, to experience a more rich, more full life. How I measure my life, right? It's how I measure my life, right? And it could change in the future, but it's really for me. It's about the richness of my experience, right? How alive do I feel, right? Do I wake up in the morning feeling refreshed, excited? How many new emotions do I feel, right? Can I say my life that it was can I say at the end of my life it was worth it? I went through so much shit, so much joy, so much pain, so much so much love. Going through the 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 wide birth of life, right? The from the deepest of the deeps, deepest of the depths to the highest of the highs, right? From the peaks of the mountains to the valleys of despair, right? Going from here to there, everywhere. Was it all worth it? And if I can say that it was all worth it, that's a good life, right? That's my metric for measuring my life. And that's just kind of a way that I visualize it, that I make sense of it.